Port days go by fast when you're on a cruise. You've got exactly 6 hours in paradise. And how you spend the first 30 minutes? That can make or break your entire day. We've made just about every mistake possible, from missing a tour in Cozumel to paying triple for a ride in Nassau. But we've also learned what really works when it comes to planning shore excursions. In this video, I'll show you our real-world hacks to help you skip the tourist traps, save money, and turn your Caribbean port day into the highlight of your entire cruise. Whether you're brand new to cruising or planning your 5th trip, stick around. These tips will save you hours, headaches, and even a few $100s. Let's start with the first big decision. Should you book your shore excursions in advance or wait until you're off the ship? We've done both, and honestly, each has its place. What matters is knowing when and how to choose the right option. Cruise line excursions are the most convenient and safest when it comes to timing. These tours are designed around the ship's schedule. If something runs late, the cruise line either holds the ship or arranges transportation to the next port. They use vetted operators and the logistics are smooth. But convenience comes at a cost. In Grand Turk, we met a few guests who said their snorkeling excursion felt rushed. Only 30 minutes actually in the water, a crowded catamaran, and a lot of waiting around. On the flip side, independent vendors usually offer smaller groups, better pricing, and more flexibility. In St. Thomas, we booked a sea trek dive and beach day through a third-party operator. 8 people total. No crowds, no rush. The entire afternoon felt relaxed and personal. Some tours, especially small group hikes or reef excursions, can fill up fast. If it's a high-demand activity, book early. But for flexible options like beach days or city tours, you can often wait and book until you're in port, especially if the weather looks questionable. When it comes to who to book with, we've used Viator, Shore Excursions Group, and Get Your Guide. They're all solid platforms with a good reputation among cruise passengers. Some even guarantee to get you back to the ship on time, or they'll cover your transportation to the next port. Always check reviews from other cruisers and make sure they're relevant. You should be able to sort the comments by most recent. Anything older than 6 months may not accurately reflect current operations. Also, look for key info, return timing, group size, safety policies, and refund options. If a company avoids listing those details, that's a red flag. In short, if you want zero stress and guaranteed logistics, cruise line tours are a safe choice. But if you're looking for a better value and don't mind doing some planning, independent vendors often offer a more personal experience. Time is your most valuable currency in port, and most cruisers waste way too much of it. That's why we use our cruise planner to help us stay organized and make the most of our time on port days. There's dedicated pages to track your shore excursion plans and write down details like port times, local contact information, and backup plans, all in one place, offline. Don't rely on glitchy Wi-Fi connection or scattered notes. I'll leave an Amazon link in the description so you can pick up your copy. We learned the hard way how important time management is when we visited Cozumel. We rented a motorcycle to explore the island. Amazing views, total freedom. But we underestimated the loop around the island. We made it back to town just before the rental office closed, but we still had to walk to the port and clear security. We did make it, but cut it a bit closer than I like. Since then, we've built intentional time buffers into every plan. We subtract 30 to 45 minutes from both ends of the schedule. That covers delays when disembarking, reboarding, or waiting in security lines. Avoiding the early morning rush also helps, especially at tender ports. Disembarking 30 minutes after the first call often means shorter taxi lines and a calmer start. But don't wait too long. In places like Nassau or Ocho Rios, taxis are often shared to offer a more affordable group rate. Fewer riders means higher cost, as you will be forced to pay the private fare. It also pays to know whether your tour runs on ship time or local time. The difference is often just an hour, but that's all it takes to miss your group, or worse, the ship. We always switch our phones to manual ship time and turn off auto updates. This small setting change prevents a major problem. And to stay extra safe, we set 3 alarms. a halfway check-in, a head back alert, and a hard cutoff. Transportation is one part of port planning that gets overlooked way too often, especially if you're heading out on your own. If your excursion or beach stop is more than 20 minutes from the pier, you should plan to head back at least 90 minutes before the all-aboard time. That might sound like overkill, but consider this. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of other passengers are all trying to return at the same time. Now, imagine the traffic converging on a road system designed for a fraction of that volume. Enough said. And here's the thing. Arriving at the pier early doesn't mean you're wasting time. We often spend it picking up souvenirs, trying local snacks, or just relaxing near the port. In Ocho Rios, Jamaica, we wrapped up our day with some amazing local food and picked up handmade crafts just a few steps from the ship. Finishing your port day with a cold drink and a 10-minute walk beats sprinting back in a panic. One of the biggest mistakes we made on our first few cruises was wasting port time stuck in crowded, overpriced tourist zones that didn't reflect the island's real culture. If the first thing you see after disembarking is a Diamonds International or a sign that says duty free, chances are you're in a tourist trap. These areas are built for convenience, right near the terminal, same souvenirs at every booth, inflated prices, and a lot of the same recommendations repeated over and over. If your goal is comfort and easy access, they'll do the job. But if you want something real, you've got to go a little farther. In St. Thomas, we discovered a hidden beach tucked away in a quiet bay. It wasn't on any cruise map. A local guide tipped us off and shared great snorkeling spots we never would have found on our own. That day became one of our all-time favorite stops in the Caribbean. In Cozumel, we explored ancient ruins off the typical tour route. It was a quiet, fascinating stop. There was one catch though. The admission price had recently doubled, and they weren't accepting credit cards. We only had just enough cash to cover it. If you're heading off the beaten path, always bring more money than you think you'll need. Small group and private tours might cost a little more upfront, but the value is usually much higher. You get more time, a better guide, and a far richer experience than the typical bus tour. Whether it's a family-run market, a local rum shop, or a cultural site, these kinds of experiences tend to be more relaxed and more personal. Social media can be a goldmine for this kind of info. We check Reddit threads, cruise Facebook groups, and YouTube vlogs for first-hand tips. Search terms like non-touristy things to do in port or hidden beaches in island name usually bring up gems that aren't on the cruise brochures. You don't have to spend a fortune to have an amazing day in port. Some of my favorite shore excursions have cost less than $50 or nothing at all. With a little planning and a few insider tricks, you could stretch your budget without sacrificing the experience. Start with low-cost or free activities near the cruise terminal. Most Caribbean ports have public beaches just a short walk or quick taxi ride away. In Nassau, Junkanoo Beach is about 15 minutes on foot. It's free to access and you'll find local food, drinks, and music right on the sand. In Grand Turks, there's a great public beach near the dock, plus a small bay just south that's perfect for snorkeling. No tour needed and no entrance fee. You'll also find museums, churches, and local markets that offer real insight into the island's culture, often for just an admission price of a few dollars. In Nassau, the public library is actually a formal colonial jail dating back to 1837. In Cozumel, the local history museum near town gives a great overview of Mayan culture for a very small entry fee. I always search free things to do near whatever port before our trip. You'd be surprised by just what you'll find a short walk from the ship. When it comes to negotiating with taxi drivers or independent tour operators, be polite but firm. Always agree on the total price before you get in the car or commit to anything. And don't be afraid to ask, is that the best price, or do you offer a group discount? We've saved over 20% off the initial fare offer by calmly asking for a better deal and paying cash. Most drivers are used to bargaining. Just keep it respectful. Speaking of money, it's smart to carry small US bills in most ports. Many vendors don't take cards, and even when they do, paying in cash avoids delays or fees. If you do use a credit card, always choose the local currency at checkout. selecting US dollars can actually trigger hidden conversion fees. Another way to save? Bring your own gear. A basic snorkel set costs about $30 at home, but in ports, rentals can run $10 to $20 per person per use. Same goes for towels, dry bags, and water bottles. I keep a small shore kit in my luggage with everything I might need. Planning ahead doesn't just make excursions better, it makes them safer. In our day pack, we always carry a copy of our passport, never the original, plus our cruise card, $40 to $100 in small bills, our phone with offline maps downloaded, sunscreen, a reusable water bottle, and a small first aid kit. Check out this video if you're not certain what should be in that. Anything valuable or hard to replace, like our original passport, expensive jewelry, or extra credit cards, stays locked safely on the ship. To avoid unexpected data charges, we disable roaming and rely on offline Google Maps, downloaded before we arrive. Free Wi-Fi is often available in the port or at nearby cafes, but if you want to ensure mobile data, consider signing up for an eSIM plan from GigSky ahead of time. Their service covers most Caribbean ports reliably, and you can save 10% at checkout with the code EMBRACETODAY. I'll leave a link in the description. One of the most overlooked safety tips is understanding the difference between ship time and local time. Some cruise lines stay on their own schedule even if the island is an hour ahead or behind. Always confirm this before you head out and manually set your phone to the correct time. I've seen travelers rushing back too late because their phones automatically switched to local time, making them think they had more time than they actually did. It's also smart to set a designated meeting point in case your group gets separated. We usually pick a central spot near the port entrance and agree on a backup plan if someone's running late. Snap a photo of the ship's daily schedule, it's usually posted outside guest services, and take screenshots of your excursion details and emergency contacts. Now, what if you do miss the ship? If you booked your tour through the cruise line, they'll assist with transportation to the next port and cover the cost. If you booked independently, you're on your own. That's why it's critical to keep a credit card, ID, and some cash on you. If you think you might miss the ship, don't panic, but be ready to act. The ship technically won't wait, but the crew doesn't want to leave anyone behind unnecessarily. Call the port contact number listed on the daily schedule right away. Sometimes the captain can delay departure for a few minutes if they know you're close and there's a valid reason. The crew keeps a real-time head count and tracks who's still ashore. We once were surprised to get a call from the ship's crew as we approached the gangway about 10 minutes before all aboard time. They noticed we hadn't scanned back on and wanted to confirm we were on our way. That kind of communication can make all the difference, but only if you're reachable and keeping track of time. As you can see, you don't have to be a cruise veteran to enjoy the perfect port day. By planning smart, embracing local culture, and making savvy choices, you can create unforgettable memories in the Caribbean without breaking the bank or missing the boat. Don't forget to grab your cruise planner linked below. It includes packing checklist, shore excursion pages, and journaling prompts to help you remember every minute of your cruise vacation. Until next time, remember, whether you're chasing waterfalls in Jamaica or sipping rum punch in St. Thomas, adventure awaits.